The Colbert Report made Stephen Colbert a household name, but he didn't think it was going to work at first for two very obvious reasons. The Colbert Report turns 20 years old this month, so here are 9 facts I bet you never knew about it. Fact number 1, the Stephen Colbert character wasn't invented at The Daily Show. Colbert actually created his blowhard newsman on the short-lived Dana Carvey show in 1996, where he made appearances as, quote, a self-important trench-coated reporter who does on-location stories in a way that suggests his own presence is the real scoop. Colbert then joined The Daily Show in 1997 when Craig Kilborn was still hosting. Fact number 2, Jon Stewart was the key to the character. After Jon Stewart joined The Daily Show in 1999, he encouraged Colbert to hone his political POV, and the Stephen Colbert character then began to take its full shape as a satirical right-wing contrarian. He was later described as a well-intentioned, poorly informed, high-status idiot who believes that he himself is the news. In the early 2000s, Colbert started filling in for Stewart in character on occasion, and they even ran fake advertisements for a show called The Colbert Report, which Stephen then eventually pitched to Comedy Central for real in 2004. Jon Stewart then pushed the network to pick up the show. But fact number 3, Colbert did have some doubts about getting his own series. He worried that the character wouldn't be sustainable in a longer format and that he'd come off as an unlikable asshole. Jon Stewart assured him, "You're not an asshole, you're an idiot, there's a difference." Fact number 4, The Colbert Report premiered on October 17th, 2005, but it was only supposed to be an 8-week trial run. That said, it was such a success that it quickly became a fixture of late night, and the perfect companion to The Daily Show. At its height, 1.5 million viewers were watching each evening. The show won multiple Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Variety Series in 2013 and 2014, and 2 Peabody Awards. But fact number 5, the behind-the-scenes work wasn't always easy. Colbert was a perfectionist and a demanding boss. He's quoted as telling his writers, "Let's make it perfect and then cut it." They wrote each show the day of, and the writers would craft the show's topical material all day long. But sometimes, segments weren't written until the rewrite session just before the afternoon rehearsal at 5:30 p.m. They shot the show an hour later and didn't wrap up until 9 p.m. sometimes, ahead of the 11:30 airtime. Fact number 6, Colbert's set included tons of small visual gags. For example, his shelves included a miniature 10 Commandments and a Cliff Notes guide to the US government. In the show's first season, there was a portrait of Stephen over the fireplace that showed Colbert standing in front of the very same mantle with another portrait of himself behind him, and then every year they'd replace that portrait with a new portrait where he was standing in front of the previous year's portrait, resulting in a repeating portrait inception. Fact number 7, Colbert warned his interview guests before they went on the air. Colbert's interviews often turn antagonistic as he stayed in character, but he always met with the guest ahead of time to explain that he was playing a character, and that, quote, the character would be willfully ignorant of what you know and care about. And his producer told guests to treat Colbert like a harmless drunk at the next bar stool. Fact number 8, Stephen pulled off some legendary stunts as his character. He invented the word truthiness in his very first episode, and Merriam Webster later named that the word of the year. He performed at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in character in 2006 and pissed off a lot of people in the Bush administration. In 2010, he appeared before a House Judiciary Subcommittee hearing on the issue of farm workers and immigration in character. And in June 2011, he pulled off maybe his biggest stunt ever, creating his own super PAC, Americans for a Better Tomorrow, Tomorrow. The bid exposed just how unregulated and corrupt super PACs are, and Colbert's PAC ultimately raised $1.22 million in its first year. The money was then donated to various charities, including a Hurricane Sandy Fund and Habitat for Humanity. Fact number 9, Colbert toned down the intensity and ferocity of the character over the years, because he believed he would eventually have to leave it behind. To keep the character consistent and relevant, he paid a lot of attention to the right-wing cable news pundits of the time, and so over the years he got sick of keeping up with them and consuming all of their vitriol. With his contract set to run out at the end of 2014, Stephen made the decision to end The Colbert Report. Fate would have it that around the same time, CBS was looking for a replacement host for David Letterman, and so Colbert was offered and accepted The Late Show. The Colbert Report ended December 18th, 2015, and he started at CBS on September 8th, 2015.